It's a beautiful Friday afternoon here inside the Zozo Marine Stadium as it plays host for the second year in a row to X Games Japan. As we get set to kick off BMX Park elimination here in the capital city of the Chiba Prefecture. You can see the course that is laid out here for these athletes to try to make it into the final this afternoon. And our big storylines here, you got Logan Martin seeking his 5th park gold, Rim Nakamura in the field, the only park medalist from Japan. Hello everyone, I'm Jimmy Coleman here in the booth. It's the return of Scotty Kramer to the booth as well. And well, Scotty, this one's a tall task. 15 riders in the field and only the top 8 are moving into that final.
Yeah, 15 riders, and we're talking about all the best in the world. Like literally, if you look at the start list, these guys are from all over the place, and they're all so talented and so unique in all their own different tricks they're going to be bringing to this course today.
Well, as I mentioned, it's 15 athletes. Here in the elimination, you get 2 runs. They're 45 seconds in length. It is the best run that counts. Those judges are working off of a 100-point scale. And as we mentioned, it is only the top 8 that are moving on. So there is your start list. We're going to start it off with Jeremy Malott. You've got Logan Martin down there. He gets to ride last by being virtue of the X Games gold medalist in park back in July. But you have 9 park medalists in this field, and 4 of those guys are gold medalists in this event, Scotty.
Yeah, it's very stacked. I mean, from top to bottom, you have rookies out here that are going to be bringing tricks that the X Games hasn't even seen before. I mean, just looking at this right here, we see Kieran Riley in the background. This guy did a triple flare. A triple flare. I never even thought that would be possible, and he did it, and he did it perfectly as well. So very exciting about today.
So again, it's best run that counts. You're taking a look at Jeremy Malott. Now he owns 2 medals, but they happen to be in park best trick. Both of those medals are bronze. His best finish in a park event at the X Games is 7th, and that came last year at the July event. He starts us off.
So Jeremy, like you said, he did the best trick, and he's really good at that. Now all he needs to do is just take multiple of his best tricks and just get them in the perfect run so he can get up there and hopefully get a medal. But Jeremy's been riding so great. He's got such a great he brings his own style to the course, and especially when he does these crazy tech tricks that he's been known for in the BMX world.
He got an 8th place finish at the 2021 X Games Park event with a big Superman seat grab, stretching that one out, coming down to the 15-second mark here for Jeremy.
So you can see the box jump that the guys are riding. It's been a little while since they've had a proper box jump, so I'm excited to see what tricks they're going to be bringing today. And you can see Jeremy's already doing the 720 over it, and he actually did a line where he went over the box backwards too, and I think a lot of guys are going to be doing that line.
So it's tough when you're the first guy out of the gate. You're kind of setting the bar, but he just came out there and put down. That's a great way to start off this competition.
Yeah, so there's a box jump right there. 360 tail up to one-handed X up, which is a combo I really haven't seen many people do, if any. There's a nice double tail up air, and he's been known for his tail whip and bar spin combinations. I mean, he's done 360 triple tail whip, 2 late bar spin, which is insane to think about.
I thought he had a good flow. I didn't really see any hiccups there. He had good landings. He never looked lost. So again, as we mentioned at the top of the show, you're working off of a 100-point scale, and it is the better of your 2 runs that count. So he is going to check in with a 61.33 to get things started right there. So a little room for improvement there, but not a bad way to start things off. And again, you're not trying to get into that. You just want the 8 cut. That's the task at hand out here today as we move on to our next competitor here. This is Marcus Christopher. He has 1 prior appearance. It was back in 2019 in BMX Park. We were at X Games Minneapolis, where he finished out in 11th place.
Marcus Christopher is a powerhouse. Look at that downside triple tail up air. Pumping. Look at the speed he brings. He used to be a BMX racer, so he's not scared to go fast. Oh, beautiful 360 backflip over the box. See, like, he's got a great flow as well, and I think that it has a lot to do with being a BMX racer with background. I mean, I used to be a BMX racer. My little brother has actually spent time with Marcus Christopher over the years. He stayed at his house before. He got to hang out with his bulldog. Oh, beautiful 540 flare. And he just goes everything so high in the air as well, which is pretty crazy.
Going back to the speed that you mentioned earlier, there was a lot that happened just in the first 15 seconds of this run. And look at how he slingshots himself through those bowl corners and keeps that momentum going. That's a great run for Marcus as well.
Yeah, very good first run. You definitely want to show up here and be able to get a good first run out there and try to get as many big tricks as you can without going over the top. You know, one thing you want to take into consideration is not overdoing to the point where you crash. And look at, he did this perfectly. Beautiful downside triple tail up. So that's his actually normal direction that he would rotate in the air, and he kicks his tail ups that way. Nice 360 flip over the box, and then look at that flare bar spin to look back. And since he's a goofy footed rider, he's able to do the look back combinations. And goofy foot means pretty much he turns to the direction of his front foot. So there's the backflip tail up over the box as well. And I think this box is going to play a big role in definitely deciding between the top guys today, because I think it's going to be a lot of big tricks.
Well, there you go, into the low 80s right there at 83.66. So 2 riders in, 2 complete runs right there. We are off to a great start as we move on to Portsmouth, Great Britain's Declan Brooks. Now, this guy's known for some big transfers, and he's also got a style. He just makes things look easy, makes them look effortless.
Yeah, Declan is so dialed. And I'll tell you one thing. This is my opinion, but I fully believe this. He designs runs better than anybody in BMX Park right now. He just knows how to approach a course and bring his style and his tricks to life. And look at him just flying around here right now, just hitting every single usable object. Look at it, even onto the roof right there, which is really cool to see. Something different than you wouldn't really see at a XGames Park.
Coming up on the last 15 seconds here. It's also your bronze medalist at the Tokyo Olympics in BMX Park. So calling it with just a couple of seconds left there. Remember, you get 2 runs, it's the best run that counts, but he says, I'm happy with that one right there, and he's calling it.
Yeah, so here he goes to transfer, doing a front flip over that hip. Man, front flips over hips feel terrible. So, and he does them a lot for some reason. Like, he feels comfortable doing those front flips. He does them over a lot of crazy things. Another 360 backflip, which is beautiful. But I think he might have moved his handlebars. Yep, there you go. I was looking at it when he was riding past us, and I think when he landed low on that flare, and then once your handlebars move, like, your bike just feels so wacky, you don't even want to finish your run at that point.
So he's down there in the mid-50s and looking to bump that one up in run number 2. We move on to our first of our X Games rookies. This is France's Anthony Jean-Jean. Began riding at just age 10.
Wow, beautiful flip, double whip, flare bar spin. Anthony Jean-Jean, he's been bringing so much power to all the courses he's been riding. I mean, he rode so good at the Feast courses this year. Look at that, nice Superman up. So like I said, the box jump is going to be, I think it could make or break the runs for a lot of these guys, because it's not the biggest box jump. So it's who's going to bring their biggest trick. That's the big question here. Like, I know that Anthony Jean-Jean is capable of doing like double backflips, huge ones. So like, is he going to bring that in the run? We do not know. There we go, cork 720. You can see it was very similar to the 360 flip, but it was just a little bit off axis. Oh, beautiful, flared downside tail whip. That was a really good first run.
So clock management definitely not an issue there for the X Games rookie. Trying to squeeze a couple more things in there. That last one after the buzzer right there. You need an 83.67 or better if you're going to take over that top spot as of right now. So we take a look back at Anthony's first attempt.
Nice flip double whip, landing perfectly, pedals standing up. And here we go. Double tail whip transfer, downside tail whip over the rail into the box jump landing.
So a 62.66 for him. That'll slide him into that number 2 spot. He'll overtake Jeremy Malott. So in the number 2 spot for now as we get set to bring in Bryce Tryon out of Lodi, California. Now, X Games Japan, this will be his 3rd X Games appearance. He came in as a rookie in 2021, and he earned a silver in dirt.
I was so happy for him at that one. He's been going to so many of these contests, and he's been getting better and better. And to see it finally paying off for him is just so cool. And look at that, another goofy-footed rider. So he's kicking those tail whips. Instead of doing it downside compared to Marcus Christopher, he does his regular, the same direction that he airs, but his feet are changed. Oh, I love that one. Flare, one-footed table. It looks so stylish, and he's like the only person that I know that's doing it like that. Popping up on the roof. What's he going to do on the box? There we go. 360 double tail whip. Oh, running out of time here.
Kind of looked a little lost at the end of that one there with the last couple of seconds. That roof's coming to play a couple of times. It just kind of a reset as of right now to get back into that box jump. We'll see what the score's looking like here for Bryce.
So look at this backflip bar spin to late tuck no-hander. He's really good at doing the bar spin to no-handed tricks like that. And there's that double tail I was telling you about. And since he's goofy foot, he's spinning, he's doing the tail ups regular, but just his feet are switched. So this is when he got a little bit lost. He started going back towards that deep bowl over there. And that deep bowl, you can see it's over his shoulder. It's curved the whole way around. So to do big tricks on that, it's definitely going to be a little bit scarier than doing it on a straight quarter with nice and straight coping.
Well, the bad news is the score is just shy of the 60s. The good news is that's good enough for 4th place as of right now with what we've seen thus far. Next competitor in out of Argentina, this is Jose Torres. I mentioned there were several prior park medalists in the field. He's one of them. He got a bronze at his rookie appearance at X Games Minneapolis in 2019.
Look at that, starting things off with a 720 bar spin. And look at the height. I remember the first time I saw him riding, he was on the spine ramp and he went, oh. Let's see if he's all right there. Well, he's back up on his feet.
Yeah, gets back up pretty quick right there, but that's actually the first fall that we've seen in this contest, though, thus far.
Yeah, and like going back to what I was saying, when I saw him on the spine ramp, he just goes so big on everything. But he's in control, he is. But when you're going over a box jump like that, blind, and you're going into the lip part, which is steep, so if everything's not perfect, like you could definitely pay the cost, and I think that's what happened to him there.
Well, that's going to put him in a bit of a pressure situation because now he's going to have to look to that second run. Remember, you only get 2 runs here in BMX Park elimination. Out of the 15, the top 8 move on into the final. Moving on to our next rider here, also from Great Britain and also an X Games rookie, known for some big tricks, and he likes to spin. This is Kieran Riley from Newcastle.
Oh, look at that 720 tail up off of the first hit.
Right out of the gate, Scotty.
Nice flare whip on that quarter pipe and bringing some good speed. You see how he's landing nice and smooth. I mean, he was known for the big tricks in the beginning, but he was having a hard time getting the contest runs, but he's been doing great as of lately. He's just learned how to take his big tricks and put them in a run, and his results have been showing. Nice double truck over the box jump. See, he's also another rider that's really good at cramming in those last-second combinations with the bar spins. Okay, he's running at a time here.
I was going to say, we didn't have the time clock there for a little bit, but there we go, and squeaks that one in right before the buzzer. So again, a solid run for an X Games rookie.
Yeah, just like I was saying about the late bar spin stuff, that's what he finished with, and it's really impressive to do that at the end when you're running out of energy. But there's that 720 tail whip, perfect, landing it no problem. Here's that flare whip. I just love how he lands, and he just gets so much speed, just pumping at that, landing so smooth. He's been doing so great this year when it comes to the contest, and the results are showing.
The top score in the 80s, and then it's in the low 60s for number 2 and number 3. So a 57.33 for Kieran. So that will put him in the number 5 spot as we are approaching the halfway point of the run order. We take a look at one of our veterans, and he's one of those 4 gold medalists in this event that I mentioned at the top of the show. He's also looking for redemption from last year here. He thought he was in the final, and then he got edged out. This is Daniel Dares.
Well, if anybody is going to be able to come up with a good run here, with a very limited time of practice, it's going to be this guy. He is a true professional. I mean, I witnessed it firsthand in my BMX career. And he's just always been a guy that just rose to the occasion when it came to showing up in the big moments. And it's just, he's built such an amazing career. And the fact that he got the Olympic silver medal was just, it was unbelievable. Because he's the oldest rider. Look at that 360 double tail whip.
He owns 5 gold and 1 bronze in this event. He was the Duke 2 Park overall champ 2006, 2008, or 2006 through 2008 and 2010.
Wow, nice flare whip there.
And the look on his face last year, he thought he was getting in, and then he got edged out. And you could just see the frustration in 2022. So, as I mentioned, looking for redemption here, and all smiles after that first run.
So look at that 720. You can see it's corked, and he was one of the first riders I've ever seen doing that one. I remember he actually named it the nipple twister. This was a really long time ago. I don't know if it still goes by that one or not, but that was his move, and he beat me in many competitions using that one, so I know that one well. I was very jealous of that one.
So he's going to end up with a 52. It's got him in for now, but that puts him in kind of similar spot to where he was last year with an 8 cut. You don't want to be lurking down there around the bubble. So we'll see what he can do in run number 2. We're just getting started. We're at the halfway point. More from run 1 when we come back to X Games Japan. Welcome back, everyone. X Games Japan 2023 here inside the Zozo Marine Stadium. If you're just joining us, we are in round 1 of 2 here, BMX Park elimination. Before we went to break, we hit the halfway point of the run order. We take a look now at Pat Casey. He happens to own 3 medals in this event. He owns 2 silver and 1 bronze. He's in for his first of 2 attempts.
Pat's starting things off with a 360 double tail whip. Pat's such an original rider. His riding style it's just Pat Casey that rides this way. I mean, riding the free coaster, he can do the tech fakey stuff. He can go huge. He can literally do everything, and he's so fun to watch. Every BMX rider gets so excited when Pat's on the course, and so far he's looking really good. He's got a nice flow through this section right here. Look at that fakey up there. See, everybody's been stopping up there, but Pat actually makes a cool, stylish trick out of it.
Just a unique approach to the course, that all-around talented rider in park as well as dirt. Wow. Yep. So just taking a unique approach to it here in run 1.
Yeah, that was a really good, solid first run. I mean, just getting that 360 fakie mid-run it's just cool to see. It's different. You're not going to see anybody do that one today.
So again, 2 runs, best run counts. We're working off of a 100-point scale. This is Marcus Christopher currently sitting in the lead with that 83.66. And then after that, his scores drop down to the 60s. Let's take a look at some highlights here from Pat's first attempt.
Yeah, classic Pat. I love this one right here. That flare tail whip. And Pat, when he started doing that trick, it was different than everybody else because he does this cool flat spin version of it. Look at that. Great use of free coaster, getting the 360 of fakie, landing with speed, and carrying momentum too. It's not like his run came to a stop after that. He kept the momentum going.
Yeah, he had a good clip of speed coming out of that. So waiting for the score to populate here. We've got Mike Varga on deck. And he's going to check in with a 64, so that is going to be good enough to move him up into that number 2 position. As we roll through this, remember, it's just round 1. There's 2 runs, and it's the top 8 that will move on into the final. This is Canada's Mike Varga. He owns a 1 medal in park. He's got a bronze. He owns 3 golds in park best trick.
Yeah, Mr. Best Trick right there. I mean, it just like we were talking about with Jeremy in the beginning, he's got the tricks. He just needs to put them together in the run to be able to get his medal in the actual park competition. But he's fully capable. He's got such a solid style, such a great, oh, that was close call. You can hear all the riders in the background acknowledging that one.
Well, that's the thing. When you have a tight course like this, one little slip up and it can throw the whole thing off because the next feature is coming at you pretty quick.
Yeah, beautiful 540 flare right there on that big quarter pipe. He's got a couple seconds left. See what he ends with. Nice down whip in that deep bowl when I was telling you about earlier. The round coping over there, definitely a scary one to do it in. So,
well, looking at the bubble cut there, Daniel Dares was in 7th before we went to break, but with Pat Casey jumping up into number 2, Daniel's now in that bubble spot. It's like we're looking back into last year at this event. So he now sits in that bubble spot with a 52 flat.
Yeah, he's probably feeling some deja vu right there, but. See Mike coming over here. Nice 360. Well, it technically would be a 270 downside tail over that rail transfer. And here's that 540 flare. Beautiful. Coming down. And, I mean, a 540 flare. This guy he was the first one to do the 12, which is insane.
So that's going to put 58.66. That's going to put Mike in 6th. So now going back to that Daniel Dares point, now he's on the outside looking in. So
Yeah, history does repeat itself,
Here
but
we go again.
it's gonna be it's gonna be up on his terms though. He's gonna be the one being able to decide that in his next run.
Coming your way right now, another gentleman who has a very huge arsenal of tricks and such an amazing smooth style. This is Daniel Sandoval. He owns 4 X Games medals. All of them are in BMX Park. He owns 3 bronze as well as a gold.
Wow, I like that line right there, jumping from that deep bowl into that steep wedge. Look at, he's flowing around the course a lot different than everybody else. Nice 3-whip to late down whip, flare transfer. He's always been known to be able to air quarter pipes and keep the speed going. Every course that he went to, he's not scared to go to those big quarter pipes. There's a 360 double downside tail whip, and you'll notice a lot of his tricks. He does a lot of 360 whip and downside tail whip and bar spin combinations. Throwing in the hand plant there. So he's got a few seconds left. See if he ends something big here. Nice double tail whip. That was a good first run for Daniel.
So great run management there. Right now, you need a 53.34 or better if you're cracking in to that top 8. We still have 4 riders left to go in the run rotation. We take a look at some highlights.
Yeah, nice shot of that flare whip right there. And then here's that 3-whip to whip back. You can see he doesn't even put his feet back on the pedals. He just lets the bike come to his front foot and he just taps it back the other direction. And here's the 360 double downside tail up, so he's letting the bike go opposite twice underneath him.
So we're into the 80s, only the second rider to get into the 80s this entire first round at 80.66. That'll put him into second for now. So now you get Kieran Riley in that bubble spot with a 57.33 with 4 riders left to go here in round number 1. Rim Nakamura. In his home country, he has 1 X Games medal. It came at BMX Park in Minneapolis 2019.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. Oh, look at that triple bar spin. He's got the fastest hands in BMX, I swear. But he goes so big, but his trick list is so fun. It's just so different. Nice 360 bar spin to X up. Oh, beautiful downside tail. I love his downside tail ups. They're just so lazy looking and they come around so smooth. Nice little tabletop. Well, not little, it's actually, it was pretty high up there on that deep end. Double tail whip.
Last couple of seconds ticking down here. See how he finishes off. Now he's another one that's kind of looking for redemption. He made it to the final last year. He went huge, but he just wasn't able to put it all together, and he had to settle for 6th out here. But he was definitely, coming into this event last year, he was definitely a podium favorite.
But look at his first trick. 720 bar spin. You can see he throws the bars around in the first one and tightens his body up in the second one to get the spin. And there's that truck to X up over that hip. There's a double tail of air. Yeah, Rim's such an amazing rider. Every time he gets on the course, I just get so excited to see what he's going to do and how many bars he's going to do off of it.
So that'll slide him into 3rd with that 74.66 right there. So it's Christopher Sandoval Nakamura, your 1, 2, 3, and now that moves the Canadian Mike Varga down to that bubble spot with a 58.66 with 3 riders left to go here to wrap up round number 1. Taking a look at Kevin Peraza, originally from Tucson, Arizona. He too, one of the former gold medalists in this event. He owns 2 gold and 1 bronze at the X Games. Oh!
That was the trick so far right there. That tip of transfer was insane.
See the look on his face when he did that.
Oh, it's the same as it always is. Just a big old smile, just having the best time ever. But man, that was crazy. This run so far is so good. It's just original. It's Kevin Peraza. He's always looking outside the box, and that's why BMX loves him so much. Oh, nice flare whip. See, he does the stylish moves, but he can also do the technical big moves like that too. Oh, truck driver in. Yeah, that was a really, really fun first run. Man, we need a replay of that.
I was going to say, I want to see the replay. I need to slow-mo that first one.
that's just, it's just insane. It was huge, it's blind. You don't really have much transition to land into. The odds are against you for sure. But check this out. You see him pedaling so fast. I was wondering where he was going. Look how much higher he is than the landing part that he's going into. Like, that's so blind. And like I said, he does the technical tricks too. The flare whip on that bigger quarter pipe. Perfect.
So what is it going to be here? Again, it's a 100-point scale here. 2 runs. Best run counts. He's going to check in with a 77, so he will slide into that number 3 spot now. So that puts Bryce Tryon now on the bubble with that 59.66 for now. Keep in mind, still got that second round of runs to come. But we only have 2 left here in the rotation with Justin Dowell and then Logan Martin. Justin Dowell came in as a rookie in 2022, earning silver both here in Chiba as well as X Games Vista this past July.
Oh, I love that trick, the Twix, the Barson and the tail up simultaneous. He's so good at it, and like, I mean, he's the only one that is able to do them consistently. Like, that's a ridiculous trick. And he's another goofy-footed rider, but he uses it to his advantage with the style of tricks that he picks. You can see he's got fast hands as well. He might give Rim a run for his money. He's got the triple truck over the box backwards. Look at that backflip bar spin. So many tricks he puts into his combinations. It's crazy. And he's so good at doing the 540s on the big quarter pipes, which you really don't see a ton of in BMX. There you go, 540 no-hander.
I mean, right there, it puts that one down under the coping, right at the buzzer.
Yeah, that was exactly what you would expect him to follow up from his last 2 X Games appearances. You know, he just looks solid. He knew exactly where he was going. He knew what tricks he wanted to do. Look at that, triple truck driver over backwards. Backflip bar spin over forwards. Like, it's just, you have to have so much confidence in what you're doing to be able to do these tricks. Like a 540 tail whip out of that big quarter pipe, ridiculous.
Yeah, he was sitting in the lead after his second run back in July at X Games, and it literally came down to Logan Martin's last run. Justin was looking at a gold medal, and then Logan got it done in his last run and ended up taking gold there. So Justin's going to get a 78.66. So now Jeremy Malott moves down to that bubble spot. So you need a 61.34 or better if you're cracking into the top 8 with what we've seen in this first round of runs. There he is. We talked about him at the top of the show, trying to make it into the final right now, but if he gets in, he's trying to make it 5 X Games Park gold medals. It's Logan Martin.
Oh, he is just so much fun to watch. Like, you're just watching, you know, the best in the world do what he does. I am such a huge fan of his riding. Every time he's on the course, I'm just so excited to see what he's gonna do. Look at that flare down whip at height, landing perfect.
The pop and the perfect execution on the rotation, and as you said, just lands perfectly under the coping.
Yeah, and he's so good at doing tricks both ways. He doesn't get enough credit for that, but look at that. A flip whip over the box backwards.
He was running out of room there on the right side.
Oh, yeah, he really was hugging that inside, which is crazy, but he wasn't scared. He knew exactly what he was gonna do. 540 flare at the end.
Again, look at the height, the pop that he had there. And clock management just puts that one in right at the buzzer.
He's a real professional. I mean, it's the reason why he's won so many X Games gold medals. He's won the Olympic gold medal. He's the best. He really is at what he's doing right now.
He's got 6 medals and 6 park starts, 4 gold and 2 silver.
It's wild, but you can see right here, he landed a little low, and he actually did that twice in his run. And I know it's definitely bothered him. He's gonna clean that up for sure. Look at this switch downside, double tail whip, the opposite direction from his normal. Yeah, that was a very, very good run. Look at that 540 flare. Like I said, though, he did have a couple little bobbles he needs to clean up, so.
Well, that leads me to my question. What do you think? Is that going to be enough to overtake Marcus for that 83.66?
I think the bobbles could come into play.
And they have not at 86, so there you go. I was trying to get you to walk the plank, and then my question was answered before.
Yeah, I should just kept my mouth shut for a second. I should just waited for 1 second.
I'm sorry to put you on the spotlight, Scotty. So there you go. Your defending gold medalist finds himself at the top spot at the end of round number 1. However, there's still 1 more round of runs to go. Top 8 moving on to the final. We'll have more when we return. That has never been done before. Get it!
X Games, summer, music, and you. That's right, fans are back at X Games this summer. Be part of 3 action-filled days in sunny Ventura, California. The best in BMX, skateboard, Moto X, and music. Right on the beach, July 21st through 23rd.
Final to new heights. So exciting news there in the world of X Games. The announcement was dropped just last week, and as you heard in that promo right there, the first time fans are back for X Games Summer Edition, so you can join us in Ventura, California, coming up this July. Here at X Games Japan, though, we've got one more round of runs to go here in BMX Park Elimination. Jimmy Coleman here in the booth alongside Scotty Kramer. 15 riders, they get 2 runs each. It is the best run that counts, and the big story here this afternoon inside the Zozo Marine Stadium is only the top 8 advance to that final. We started off back at the top of the runner with Jeremy Malott. He was in the top 8. He now finds himself just 1 spot on the outside looking in for run number 2.
Yeah, so compared to his first run, he needs to bring a little bit, he's got to add the trick difficulty. I can see he was looking for a 360 double tail with the bar spin in the beginning, so he's definitely gonna try to turn up the boost in a minute. And so let's see what he can do here. There's a double tail whip. He's got 20 seconds on the clock, so if he wants to get in here, he's gonna have to bring something big. But like we said earlier, he is the best trick guy as well. He's got 2 medals in the best trick competition. He's fully capable. He's just gotta put him in at the right moment in the run. 720 over the box.
Time for one more here before the buzzer.
Yeah.
Lofting a huge flare. He doesn't need much as of right now. It's a 62.66 is that number 8 score. As of right now, the question is this going to be enough?
Yeah, so you can see the replay. There's the double tail whip on that bigger concrete quarter pipe. And here's the Superman C grab he's been doing over the hip to the box jump landing. And then right here he does the tight flare, and let me tell you this, he's the best in the world at doing like the small flips. He can backflip off of anything, so that was a piece of cake for him.
What's up, little man?
Saying hi to the family back home. He has a son named Cameron who's 5 years old, so now we play the waiting game on the score here. And we got down to the bottom half of the order there in round number 1. We saw those scores jump. We only had 1 score in the 80s there for a while. And then your top 3 all in the 80s. Logan Martin with that 86, who rounded out the order by virtue of being your defending gold medals from July. Got Marcus Christopher with an 83.66 and Daniel Sandoval with an impressive first run to put him in that number 3 spot for now. So 63.33, Jeremy Malott has done it for now. He's gonna have to wait and watch the rest of this contest.
That's gonna be a,
the good news, when
very
you're
stressful.
first guy in the rotation, you get out of the way early. The bad news is you gotta watch everybody else go and hope that it holds up.
Oh man.
Marcus Christopher in for run number 2, currently sitting in that number 2 position and going huge right out of the gate, Scotty.
Yeah, I love that start, just pedaling all the way across. Oh, sending it to the top. I've been waiting for somebody to do that one, but that's a really steep quarter pipe. So he was trying to launch up there to the top of that roof part, but that quarter pipe down there in that bowl is so steep, and when you're trying to push through and get onto something, and you got to get the distance as well. It's like you're fighting the laws of physics. Your bike's literally pointing straight up, straight down, and trying to break past that it feels impossible sometimes.
Well, here's another story that we haven't had a chance to tell yet. These guys haven't really had much practice here. I mean, this is an active baseball stadium, and there was a game here not that long ago. The crews came in, started building the courses. They've had weather, so they've not had a lot of practice at all. And then also throw in, they had right around a 5.4 magnitude earthquake the other day.
It's been a fun week in Chiba.
You got to make it interesting. So Marcus Christopher trying to give everybody a scare right there. He still sits in that number 2 spot as we move on to Declan Brooks here.
And like I said earlier about Declan, I think he designs the best runs in BMX. and I was really excited to see what he was going to bring to the contest today. But like we were saying earlier, landed a little low there. But you know, this goes back to the whole practice thing. You know, it takes these guys some time to be able to iron out everything, be able to find the right line, to be able to bring the right tricks in the right spot, and to learn each and every transition, because it's all different. Every skate park you go to, you know, it's not all going to be from the same cookie cutter transition for the ramp, so it takes time.
Another part of the equation, they also have to share this course. This is the same park course for the skaters as well, so you have to navigate, you know, practice between them, and you have a men's and a women's field in park, so there's not a lot of time out there for these guys to get adjusted. But I think the whole field has done quite well from what we saw in round number 1. Anthony Jean-Jean, he was in the top 8. He now finds himself on the outside looking in because Jeremy Malott jumped back up in run number 2. We'll see if Anthony here can trade the favor back. He's in for 45 seconds.
Starting things off again, similar to run number 1. He's got that beautiful flip double whip. And yeah, he's got such a smooth control of his big tricks. Like, he's got some crazy big tricks, but they look easy when he does them. I love that scissor kick, Superman. Going into the deep end right there. Double tail carving. So he's got 14 seconds left to impress the judges. I think he's gonna bring something big right here. Whoa, crazy 720. Looks like he lost the pump on that one, but it actually still worked. Nice flare, switch downside tail whip, opposite direction.
So that'll do it for the Frenchman. And now he gets to hang out in athlete staging and await the score.
Yeah, there's that flip double whip, landing perfect though. And being a brakeless rider, you can see he just has all that momentum. He doesn't have to pedal at all or anything. He doesn't have to worry about looping out. He's just so controlled. And that's just modern day BMX Park. I mean, you got Logan Martin doing the same thing. But there's a 720 that got off access. You can see how the bike is like spinning around and kicking out. As soon as he pumped up, I was like, uh-oh, got a little nervous there. But he didn't drag back wheel. That's always a dangerous part.
Hey, he jumped back up. He got a 65.66. So unfortunately for Jeremy Malott, he's out. But not only did Anthony jump back in, but he gave himself a little bit of breathing room. He overtook Pat Casey right there. So not exactly a comfortable spot to be in, but for the task at hand for now, Anthony Jean-Jean has put himself in the top 8. So Logan Martin, Marcus Christopher, and Daniel Sandoval still sitting in those top 3 spots as we get set to take look number 2 here at Bryce Tryon.
Yeah, like we said earlier, Bryce has been riding so good. He's been managing his riding so well, picking the right tricks and putting him in the right place. It's just, his riding has matured so much as of late. And he's got the X Games hardware now to prove it. Bringing that speed and that flow. Nice Superman over a hip. That's a tough trick because turning on the hip, that's a trick you gotta be perfectly straight on, so. Coming over the box jump backwards. He's got about 10 seconds left. He's got to end with something real big here. There's the 360 double tail whip. Back over the hip.
So he's in 10th pre-run. Based off of what we saw that first run, he looked like he was off to a little bit of a slower start.
Yeah,
but he did pick it up towards the end.
He did. You know, there's things I like and I don't like, you know, compared to each of the runs for himself. But I think he rode really solid. Look at that 360 double tail whip, and we'll talk about it again. He's a goofy-footed rider, so, I mean, I mentioned it earlier. Some of those tail whips, those were opposite for the other riders, but for him, those are regular.
Let's go. Did I? I was like, damn.
You got it.
What is that?
60?
60? Where's that leaving me?
So that is going to, he was in 10th pre-run, so that's not going to be enough because Pat Casey's got a 64. Pat's on that bubble, but Pat's also got a run coming up in the bottom half of the run order here. Coming in off the top of the roof there, it's Jose Torres.
Yeah, so he had that crash in run number 1, and hopefully we'll be able to avenge that. But look at that height on that quarter pipe with that double whip. That was a few feet higher than everybody else. I mean, but Logan went really high as well. I like how he's using that foot jam on the top of that roof. Ooh, nice little underflip bar spin there. So stylish. He's just got such a cool bag of tricks. And like I said, he just loves to go high. Everything he does looks like slow motion. Oh, nice switch double down whip. That's what we saw the current leader, Logan Martin, do as well. Downside tail whip back over. Coming towards the end of the run right here. See what he's gonna end with. Nice flare whip, and he runs away, so we got a full pull on that run.
Well, we talked about it being in a pressure situation after that crash in round 1. It's got him in the bottom of the pack. It'll get him out of the basement. And you mentioned that roof. The roof, by the way, it's 8 foot 6 inches above the deck, and the bowl's 9 foot 8 inches deep, so
wow.
The peak of that roof is more than 18 feet above the flat.
Yeah, Marcus Christopher's bike felt all of that, but and look at that height right there. He's about 18 feet above the flat right there. That was insane. But here's that switch double downside tail whip. You can see he's catching it goofy-footed, so it's the opposite direction as regular.
And a 78.33. So that'll slide him into 5th. So Jose Torres, we talked about earlier, wanting redemption and getting it here in run number 2. So now the Frenchman, Anthony Jean-Jean, sits in that bubble. Pat Casey gets bumped out, but as I mentioned earlier, Pat's got another run here in the bottom half of the run order. Ryan Williams was very happy about that run right there.
He was.
Just lurking in the background. You'll see him in Park Best Trick later on this weekend. So here comes Kieran Riley for his second and final attempt.
Nice 720 tail whip. I just love how he just tightens up that spin after the tail whip. Look at the height on that. And I think the judges, from what I'm seeing, it seems like they're rewarding the speed and the height. They want to see the amplitude. And Kieran's definitely bringing it. Oh, nice tail whip to late tabletop.
That was so stylish.
It was.
Kicking that late table in there.
Yeah,
I'm a fan.
Yep, and once again, putting another one in there, and the judges are going to love that too. So he's got 14 seconds left. He's got to end with something good. Ooh, nice tuck-handed 360 over the box backwards. This will be it. Oh, 3 bar spins right there.
Hey.
That's so hard to do at the end of your run. So hard. That's when your arms are just, you know, they're all fatigued and you're barely being able to hold on, throwing them around and hoping that you catch it. So that was like his one mess up right there, was a bar spin to tuck no hander. Just got a little weird, but look at the height on this flare whip. And he landed so dominant, just put down his feet so aggressively. But this is at the end right there. Man, I remember being at the end of my run and just wanting to hold on and just survive. And to be able to do that at the end is really impressive.
So it's a 65.66. That is the number 8 spot for now. We keep calling it the bubble spot. Only the top 8 are moving on. And that's enough to do it. He's overtaken Anthony Jean-Jean. It's a tough break for the Frenchman, but Kieran Riley has put himself in for right now. With 8 riders left to go. That was huge.
That was huge. That's what he needed right there. You know, for his first X Games right there, that's a big move. But now he's got the waiting game.
It's a great overhead shot right there of this.
Speaking of the waiting game,
massive expanse of concrete these riders have to contend with here in X Games Japan. Now it comes down to Daniel Dares. We talked about it in his first run. He was wanting redemption. He was right there on the cusp of getting in last year. He now finds himself down at the bottom of the pack.
But he knows what to do. I mean, this guy has been such a dominant force in BMX Park for so long now. And oh, there he goes. He upped it from the last time. He did the no-hander in that. It was perfect.
Just slings those out like they're automatic.
Yeah, they just shoot. They really look like go-go gadget arms. Just, but it's perfect. It's executed so well. 360 tail whip right there. So I know. So like that's a safe trick for him, a 360 tail, but especially when you need to get a score right. You know, that could be one that comes back for him. But he's so good at the rest of his runs and designing it though, and the amount of tricks. You know, he did add some things compared to the first run, so we're gonna see what the judges do for him.
I mean, it's the depth of the field here. I mean, when you look at BMX events, I mean, park and dirt. I mean, there's so many talented riders out there.
So many, and look at that. There's the no-hander, and just like we talked about earlier, he just secures those handlebars in his lap. As soon as he feels that security, he just throws them off. And there's his flare whip. He does it different than everybody else. The way he throws his body out there, especially from the riders that he's riding against today, he does it more inverted than everyone.
So no, he's gonna stay down there in that number 15 position right there. So we are at the halfway point here of round number 2 here in BMX Park elimination. We still have 7 more riders yet to go. Who's making it into the top 8? We'll have the conclusion when we come back to X Games Japan. Welcome back, everyone. Day 1 of 3 here, X Games Japan 2023. We are set to drop our final 7 riders here for the conclusion of BMX Park elimination. It's Logan Martin sitting in that top spot for right now. The top 8 are moving on into that final. Coming your way right now, currently on the outside looking in, it's Pat Casey.
Wow, I love that angle. He's getting followed by the camera right there, that 360 double tail up over the box. That was cool. So Pat, like you said, he's on the outside looking in, but he has the trick list to be able to get in there.
He sure does. He's just 2 spots out right now, too. He's sitting at 10th.
Yeah, and there's things that he can add on to it. Oh, that's going to hurt him right there. Oh, the slip up like that, especially when it's on a small filler trick. Like, that wasn't anything, like, difficult for him to do. It was just an awkward lean. So he's going to need something real big. Oh, nice. Good combination there. Rare one. You don't really see too many people doing that. Oh, there's the 360 whip to Fakie. Wow, he did just a regular 360 in the first run, so he must have heard me.
When I talk about bike control, that was exemplary of that right there.
Yeah,
that was impressive. I want to see a replay of that.
Yeah, like I said, he's got a trick list that's all his own. Like, nobody rides like Pat Casey does. It's BMX is really lucky to have him on a free coaster, because we've seen some amazing videos over the years. But here's that first trick, that 360 double tail whip. I just love how he has that lean on the left side, comes in perfect over there. Over to the quarter pipe, flare whip. Wow, awesome follow cam footage right there.
And shout out to Chris Gregson right there, doing all that on the skateboard with the follow cam shots.
Yeah, look at there's the 360 whip to Fakie. And what's really cool, he did like an alley-oop on it, so. But man, that's like so hard to do.
Pat's got such a crazy park and dirt set up in his backyard. I mean, he has a rider's paradise.
He absolutely does. That course is something else, and what he does on the daily there is just insane. His Instagram is nuts.
They made him wait for that one. The judges were talking that one over. He was so close, but he falls just 1 point shy, so he'll have to settle for 9th. But
yeah,
Kieran Riley hangs on. But I mean, what a great run there by Pat. And you gotta have those nail biter moments.
Oh, that's BMX right there, especially when you have a field this stacked. But
here comes Mike Vargo sitting in that number 13 spot. He was in, but has found himself on the outside looking in as well. We'll see him in BMX Park Best Trick later on the weekend as well.
I'm so excited to see what he's gonna bring for Best Trick. Oh, 3 double down whip. Oh, that's so hard. Man, because I called it a 360 double down whip, but it's really like a 270, and he did a 360 double down whip when he should have under-rotated a little bit, but it's so hard to do, especially when you're doing a trick like that with spins, spinning the bike around.
What?
Look at that! The bar spin 900.
He got the last little bit of transition on that one. Look at the smile on his face.
Wow. And you can hear all the BMX riders in the background. I think that was Ryan Williams right there.
He's like, yeah, that just happened.
Wow, that was a crazy trick to do in your run. But you know what? You need to step it up in times like that when you're on the outside looking in.
And then just gives it the shoulder
What a
shrug.
reaction.
Like, yeah.
He's like, well, Best Trick, I did 2 bar spins last year, so that was nothing, I guess. But yeah, here's the one where he almost fell. You can see he just over-rotated. The back wheel starts to chatter. He left his mark on there. You'll see that for the rest of the weekend.
He was running out of real estate. He almost ran into the board catcher right there.
And here it is. Throws the bars, tightens up, spins around. Yeah, you're right. He just like caught that.
He had to muscle that thing around.
It was just enough transition where he could pump away from it where it wasn't going to be like too flat. And the score's in.
So he'll move up 2 spots, but that was still super. I mean, that hurt my arms, my wrists, and my ankles just watching that.
Yeah, absolutely, but he's no stranger to it. He knows he's built for it, and I think we're going to see more of that this weekend in Best Trick.
Oh, I can't. That one's always Best Trick. Park Best Trick is always just so intense.
It stresses me out commentating. It really does.
But Daniel Sandoval currently sits in that number 3 spot with an 80.66. So.
Oh, the double flare! Somebody's not holding back. Maybe somebody's getting some extra practice since he already knows he's going into the final.
I saw him hitting that wall and I stopped. I didn't want to finish my thought. I was like, what's he going to do?
Oh my goodness, and that's a big quarter pipe to do it off of. I mean, you know, you think back to Kevin Robinson doing them, you know, on the vert ramp, and then like modern day BMX, there's guys doing it on the smaller quarter, but to do it on that big quarter pipe, a concrete as well. Look at that 540 flare, wow. What a run right here. This has got some bangers, so many big tricks.
Kind of using this as a dry run, a little glimpse into what we could see in the final.
Wow.
And he is fired up at the end of that run. Nicely done. 2 very solid outings out of Daniel Sandoval.
Oh, I'm still recovering from that double flare. That thing was huge. We need a replay of that one.
And pretty much at this point, with 4 riders left to go, there's only one of them that's not in the top 8. Look at this.
Look how high he was.
Come on.
Look how far his body separates from the coping as well. You're like, oh my goodness, where's he going to land? But it came around. It fit right in.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. I can't believe he just threw that in qualifying when he was already qualified. But you know what? It takes a special kind of rider to take risk like that because he knows this is like a practice right here. You get a moment where you get the course all to yourself and to be able to bring your big tricks to it. So, scores in.
So he overtakes Logan Martin, and correct myself, of our final 4 riders, all of them are in. So the top 8 is set. So Kieran Riley's safe. So now with these last 4 riders, it basically just boils down to what rank they're going to ride in going into the final. We'll run them in reverse order as to how they qualified. But we take one more look at Rim Nakamura, sitting in that number 7 position. So he's earned his ticket into the final.
Yeah, and I think these riders are going to take kind of a page out of Sandoval's book and kind of up the ante while they can, because like I said, you get the course to yourself, and you also get that, look at that 3 down. Wow, he was on the edge there.
I was gonna say, that edge makes me nervous.
I think that border kept him on. I really think that skateboarder just kept the BMX on. But yeah, there's
a little bit of a drop up there on the other side too.
Wow, look at that big air in that bowl corner.
Boosting right now.
Yeah, and he's known for that. I mean, everybody, when Rim touches a course, you know to look up. You know you're about to see some crazy stuff, and it's going to be high up there. Wow, that's a really good run. Definitely a upgrade from run number 1.
I was going to say, there was a couple of spots where he looked a little tentative and everything seemed to be a little more flowy. This go around right there.
I think he did that whole run with something in his eye too, which is really impressive.
Dusty kicked up when he ran into that skateboard.
I think we're going to get the replay right here. Let's see how close it really was.
I mean,
oh man, that was really close. But look how high that table is in that bowl corner too. That's very difficult.
So he had a 74.66 the first time out. But how about that run by Daniel Sandoval? 1 full point ahead of Logan Martin. Again, top 8 is set. It's just the ranking as to how they're going to ride in the final. But wowzers, talk about putting your cards on the table. Sandoval's on a mission out here. So still waiting on that second score for Rim, so the judges are talking this one over. We have Kevin Peraza, Justin Dowell, and Logan Martin rounding out the order here. There's a lengthy conversation going on in that booth, Scotty.
It really is. And it was really wild. It's like, you know, he's not in the bubble, but when you're trying to get up and he got a score upgrade.
Look who's hanging out there in the background.
Oh, man.
Garrett Reynolds in the house, ladies and gentlemen.
He's got a big weekend, potentially.
He's chasing a record. We'll talk more about that into tomorrow's event. Right now, we welcome back in Kevin Peraza.
Oh, he did a double too at that time. Oh, man, but he had to go bigger for that double whip, and he had to pay the cost, landing and looping out right there. Oh, I love that one. 3 down whip, 2 late late single can, leaving that foot just off the bike. So, like we said earlier, you know, these guys are already in. They're just trying to upgrade, you know, their scoring to get better placement, because, you know, you definitely want to go last or as far last as possible, so you get to see what your competitors do and realize what you have to bring to the table. But to bring that double tail whip, I think it was like, oh, flare down whip. I don't think I've ever seen him do that one.
That was scary.
Oh, that was a little scary. So, well, he's all good now.
Let's back up from that one quick with a smile on his face. I'm digging the white tires, by the way.
Yeah, they're pretty cool, aren't they?
So KP going to stick with that first run score a bit. He is in for the final. So it comes down to these last 2 riders. What is Justin Dowell going to do here in run number 2, Scotty?
Yeah, so he had a really, he just did it. Jimmy, that trick that he just did
right out of the gate
is the most ridiculous trick that just happened today. A 360, a tail whip, and a bar spin simultaneous. Like, it's just crazy that he could do that consistently in his run. Look at that triple truck over it. He's not holding
casual.
back.
I'm just going to do this first.
Oh my goodness, truck down whip over the box backwards. This is an upgrade for sure. Backflip double bar spin like he did in run number 1. But man, already. Oh, look at that. Oh, wow. 540 bar spin to late downside tail whip, but
almost had that one. Just gets blown off the pedals and gets stung a little bit right there.
Yeah.
Is it the right ankle or is it the...
Oh, so
pedaling away, that's a good sign.
Yeah, you know, because you can see he got back up on his feet, but there's something that is bothering him right there.
Yeah, you can see him grimacing quite a bit right there. So, hopefully just a stinger. So that brings us down to Logan Martin. He was your top qualifier until Daniel Sandoval said, I'm posting up at 87. So.
And like I said earlier, he had 2 bobbles in his first run. So he has room for improvement. And he got an 86 in run number 1. So far, he's actually changed up his line a little bit. I like that transfer into that steep wedge. That brings a good amount of speed for that quarter pipe. That's what Daniel did for the double flare.
Gonna do it
triple whip. That was a switch triple whip right there. So opposite direction. Oh, I love that. I love that under flip whip over the box backwards. And he just did a bar spin version of it over forwards. Wow. So there's a lot of tricks there. There was a lot of tricks there. I'm really curious to see what the judges do with this one.
Again, top 8 moving on.
Yeah, so
he's already in. It's just, as you talked about earlier, that whole strategy of wanting to go later in the round in the finals.
Yeah, and Logan, you know, he definitely wants to be there. He's somebody who thrives under that pressure of being the last one to go. Because, you know, he rides against himself.
Well, it worked out for him last July. I mean, he was, you know, Justin Dowell was in that top spot, and Logan being the defending defending medalist.
Yeah, you definitely don't want him in that position.
Comes in and gets the ride last and gets the win.
And I think that's why everybody cranked it up at the end, because they saw that opportunity. They don't want Logan to ride last.
So he gets an 86.33, so it is an improvement, but not enough to overtake Daniel Sandoval. So there you have it. Sandoval comes out like a powerhouse in round number 2, and he gets the luxury of being your top qualifier. So your 2015 X Games Austin Park gold medalist gets the luxury of riding last here in the final in Japan. And how about Kieran Riley hanging on there in that last spot right there? So Rim Nakamura back in, Kevin Peraza 6, Jose Torres gets it done in round number 2, Justin Dowell in 4th, Marcus Christopher with that first run score qualifies in 3rd, Logan Martin in 2nd, and how about Daniel Sandoval?
That was unbelievable. It gets me so excited for the finals. This is going to be insane. Look at that group of riders. These guys are going to get some more practice in, and they're going to be bringing some serious tricks to this course.
Yeah, we got BMX Park Best Trick coming up later on the weekend. We've got BMX Street with Garrett Reynolds. It's going to be an epic weekend.
Yeah, Flatland is going to be so good. I'm so excited about it.
Flatland's on Sunday. So let's send it down right now to our field reporter, DC.
Down here with Daniel Sandoval, top qualifier heading into finals, and congratulations, 2 great runs. That second run you put it down though, getting you the highest score to get up in that top qualifier position. You were saying you weren't even planning on riding though with the arm injury?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago I hyperextended my elbow. I wasn't sure I was gonna ride, and all practice was a struggle, but I'm just happy that I was able to pull it together and get to the top spot for now.
Well, congratulations. Yeah, not 100%, but riding at 100% it looked like with the top qualifying run there. So congrats again. Top qualifier in the finals, Daniel Sandoval.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, he did not look tentative at all. I mean, that left arm did not seem to be bothering him one bit, especially with what we saw in that second run. I mean, both runs were great, but that second one, he came out and made a statement.
Yeah, as he was talking about, hyperextended my arm, and I'm like, do you realize the force that he just had to go through holding on to that double flare? Like, I think it's gonna be okay. It's insane, but man, this is really building up to be a special event for this final. This is gonna be so much fun.
Well, that's a wrap for BMX here for day 1. We've got more from X Games Japan still to come. Stick around. We'll have more when we come back.